Welcome to the Breath of Life podcast. I'm Yulia. Here, we explore the world and our place in it through the lens of interconnectedness. If we could feel part of the living world, not just intellectually, but in our bones, if our breath could sync with the larger rhythm of life, how would that change the way we live, work, and make decisions? Join me for conversations with people who live and work from that place. Very excited today to talk to Nikos Nikolaou about adventures. And to me, I haven't met a person that is suited to talk about adventures than you, Nikos. And our topic today is adventure as medicine, but also adventure as a state of being. I guess it's just a form of life. And
Right.
So Nikos, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. I really enjoyed talking to you. It's been some time since we last had a conversation. We were engaging a lot writings through LinkedIn. Now here we are, Substack, and I love this format. Looks live, engaging. So yeah, I'll talk about myself. What do I say about myself now? Okay, I love adventure as a way of life. Yes, listen. Yeah, it is a medicine for me. It balances my brain. Actually, is what makes me feel at peace and feel joy, feel alive, and it's a constant in my life. I mean, I cannot remember a time in my life that I was not motivated to go out and explore and create adventures. I mean, since I was just, as long as I was, I don't know, 3, 4 years old. I don't know if this is brain wiring. I don't know if this is the way I grew up or it is both. Or I don't know. And what I know is that this is what makes me feel alive. And this is what I always seek in my life, in any way. Adventure is not, I don't want to interpret adventure in a very strict way, like I have to go out there and do something really extreme. Adventure is, for me, is anything that is out of the ordinary, basically. Even a conversation can be an adventure. And if I engage in a deep and meaningful and fun conversation, that's an adventure. And I love that. I mean, yeah. Other than that, of course, I am engaging in different sorts of adventures. One that is constant for many, many years now. I mean, I'm like 50 years old now. It's been like, I don't know, 25 years since I started. It's spearfishing, free diving and spearfishing. And it's, you know, when I first started, I, uh, you know, uh, exploring the ocean and then spearfishing. I mean, I got hooked. This is a pattern for me actually. When I'm curious and I explore different things, sometimes I get hooked and then I get obsessed with it, and then I just want to do it all the time.
So, but let me ask you something in response to things that you shared. First of all,
Yeah.
a lot of the adventures that you engage in are very adventurous in nature. So you mentioned that for you, adventure is not necessarily only when you explore nature, I guess, do some sports and extreme sports maybe, but a conversation, but still, it's kind of like on the extreme side if you compare it to the average, let's say. If it has a big place in your life, and you also live in a location that is very suitable for that. So, can you describe a little bit? Well, first, tell us where you live, and second, what are your favorite adventures, spearfishing, and what it is and then maybe something
Yeah, of course. Uh, yeah, I live in Cyprus, which is in the Adriatic Sea. It's an island. Um, I grew up in Paphos. It's on the southwest side of Cyprus. And actually, growing up, I was not really into spearfishing or freediving. As I said before, I started at 25, but I was doing different things that one could call adventures. I don't know. I mean, I was doing crazy things and weird things with my friends. And so anyway, yeah, Paphos in Cyprus, it's a very beautiful place. It's by the sea, and there is this amazing natural park called Agamas. It's on the west end of Paphos, and yeah, it's my happy place actually. Actually, I wrote an article on Substack a couple of days ago, I think, about that. I went there spearfishing. It's a place that I usually go. It's a remote place. It's a wild place. It's a very beautiful place. It's a place that connects me with my essence and brings me a lot of joy. And yeah, so other than that, spearfishing, I do a lot of cycling. Sure.
Can you
Yeah, yeah.
describe?
Okay, describe spearfishing to someone who has no idea what is spearfishing.
Well,
Yes.
I
Okay.
know the right example.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. I understand. Okay. So what is spearfishing? Spearfishing is um it's free diving. I mean, you hold your breath and then you dive at the bottom of the sea, and I'm wearing a wetsuit and have an ice on my attached on me, a belt, a whale belt that will enable me to go down faster because of the buoyancy. And yeah, I have the spear gun, of course, a mask and a snorkel. And yeah, I relax at the surface. I take some deep breaths, and then I take a full breath. I take out the snorkel, and then I dive. Um, and then, depending on what kind of fish I'm trying to catch, there are different techniques. I mean, there is I might be looking under the rocks or in some poles for some kind of fish where I will use my short gun there because a big gun is not suitable, for fishing within a hole because it's not so convenient. And there are certain kind of fish that are gathered under holes. And after that, the waiting. I mean, I can dive and find a place to hide myself out behind some rocks or some, grass, the bottom of the sea, and then wait for fish to express their curiosity and come close to me. So I have a shot. So different kind of fish do that. Uh, yeah, and there is also the diving towards a fish that I can see from the surface. There are other fish that I can hunt them like that. Of course, all the time is very super important to be stealthy, very silent. So I have to be able to, control my moves and equalizing the pressure that's into my ears. I have to equalize every meter I go down. I have to press my nose and so that I equalize the pressure. Uh, so it has to be done, in a very smooth way, stealthy way, so that it does not surprise the fish. And yeah, I always try to make a headshot so that I don't have to, if it's a bigger fish, don't have to fight it at the bottom of the sea and try to pull it out of its hole and everything. And I mean, a headshot is always preferable, but not always achievable, of course. But most of the time, the fish does not, of course, die from the first shot. So I pull it on the surface. I mean, the shaft on the spear gun is attached to a, let's say, a rope, kind of rope. So I pull it on the surface, and then I have to end it with my knife and continue my fishing. Uh, at the end of the, yeah,
So basically, it's a type of hunt,
yeah, it's underwater hunting actually.
but the hunt itself, I guess, is quite intense. And I happened to be last weekend from Thursday to Sunday. I was doing another module of my wilderness education training. And actually, our topic was tracking animals. And so we
Mm.
spent a lot of time just tracking animals and understanding their logic and also trying to make sense of their movements and their why and what happened here. And also just talking a little bit about hunting, because hunting, of course, is an activity that has been with humans forever. And also you can make a case from some anthropologists that hunting and interacting with animals
Mm.
has shaped people a lot. And so
I'm
what you
sorry,
were doing,
I didn't hear the last because of the connection. You said hunting and people connects people with something. How did you say that?
so hunting is something that played a major role in our evolution as humanity.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And so basically what you are doing, you are engaging in a very ancient activity,
Mm.
and it's a super stressful and, well, not stressful in the word that we understand it, but it's very intense, I think, physically, but also mentally, as you described, because you have to be still. And on top of that, you're doing it in water. I think that's mind blowing.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I agree with everything you say. I mean, I feel, I don't have words actually to explain this, but I feel this ancient connection, let's say, I feel real. This is why I called also my Substack, my new Substack, the freshness of the real, because this is how I feel alive. This is how I feel I'm doing something real outside of screens and sitting and closed spaces and all that. I am in the natural environment. I am using my all my senses. I'm using my instincts. I'm using my techniques. I'm trying to be one with everything there in that environment, and that feels very natural to me. Very natural because I'm not actually trying to do something. Just trying. It's just a way of being. It's just a natural way of being. Basically, this is how I feel it. Maybe it sounds counterintuitive because it's under the water without breathing and there is a lot of pressure as you go down. But still, it feels so natural to me, and I love it. And like you said, you have to understand the different behaviors of different animals, different kind of fish. You have to understand how they behave so that you can hunt them. It's the same in the land, I suppose. So yeah, I don't remember what was the question.
No, that was the question. But we're just talking about spearfishing and what it is. And now you said something that for me resonates a lot. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about it. About this being real. Can you just explain again a little bit more how it is real and the other stuff may not be so real?
Well, it's not like I'm putting it in that necessarily in that kind of framework, like the antithetical and this one is right and this one is wrong. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, I understand that we're all unique human beings and each one of us is motivated or triggered or driven by different things. I just happen to be motivated and driven to do one of the major things that I do is freediving and spearfishing. for very many years now, and it's something that will stay for me forever, I feel. So what is real? This feels real to me. Instead of being sitting, you know, and watching TV, or I don't know, discussing gossip, or reading the news and uh, social media. I don't know, doing office work or whatever. I mean, that all feel like, I don't know, to me meaningless. And they don't provide any kind of meaning for me. I mean, uh, yeah, I don't see this kind of experience, this kind of living, this kind of existence as actual living. And it baffles me to see so many people doing that. How can they do that? I mean, I cannot wait to go on my next adventure and be one with the nature and actually go there and do my thing. Not only spearfishing, but also cycling in the mountains and also sports. I play also table tennis or just go for a swim or whatever. Be part of nature and enjoy nature and do something challenging, something that actually utilizes my strengths, my natural strengths, and gives me autonomy in some way. I mean, for specifically, we talk about spearfishing. It's one of the most, autonomous activities one can take. I mean, for example, a couple of days when I went spearfishing, I was completely alone, which I don't suggest it to anyone. You should go with another person to go spearfishing because anything can happen. So it's better to be at least two to take care of each other. And usually I go with a friend of mine, but it so happened last time I went alone and I really enjoyed it also alone pretty much. I mean, the silence and so it's like I don't know, it feels so liberating. It's freedom for me. And anyway, it's something that necessarily you have to become a master at it. You have to master it. So it's autonomous. It all depends on you, and you have to master that craft, and you have to learn and also connect with something bigger and a bigger purpose than just go fishing, which is for me is that at the end of the day I catch some fish, clean them at the sea, and take them home and cook them with my family. I mean, that's a complete day. I mean, after that day, I can die happy. I mean, I have completed my mission, my purpose. I went out there. I did what is my purpose to do. I mean, I feel is something that we humans are supposed to do. I'm sure this relates to hunter gatherers in the ancient times, something like that. I feel that I would be a hunter gatherer most probably if I was living at that era. And yeah, after feeling that, being able to be productive and useful and bring food and serve it to my family and enjoy it all together and have quality conversation at the table. I mean, this it for me.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting what you said about real. Also, it resonated with me because I had an experience where I realized what is real and what is not real. And it also happened when I started this training, the wilderness training, where some of the things, well, we always in the forest for 4 days and we do different things. And some of them are very physically and actually emotionally and mentally quite challenging. They make you kind of like, but what they do is that they make you reconnect to your human essence really fast, really fast. And all of a sudden, what was before and what I considered real life. I mean, it's not that. Of course, I have problems. Maybe there's I have problems with let's say some social media addiction, or maybe sometimes spending too much screen time on the screen. But then I was like, but no, I am aware of that, and that means that I can control it. But it changed when I went through this experience, and then like all of a sudden I realized that it's as if I had been under hypnosis to some extent, and I still didn't realize that a lot of the things that I considered real were not. So, and that it was a very kind of like fast return to your core, I guess I would say
But
that.
I relate a lot to what you're saying. I relate a lot to that. And I hear you. Can really hear you. And what I wanted to say about that is that even though I sometimes I idealize this kind of life, this kind of lifestyle, the core natural life, let's say, that resembles the ancient lifestyle. At the end of the day, what makes it so alluring and so ad- addictive in a good way to me is that after engaging in that experience, I can go back to the comfort I have in my lifestyle. Being feeling that I can have this comfort to go back and I don't have to seek for shelter, seek for water, seek for food every day, and not be on a survival mode all the time, but doing that just as a hobby, basically. This is huge for me. I mean, I don't want to do that full time. I don't want to do that. I don't want my life and my family's life to depend on that. I don't know if
Yeah.
how it sounds.
I understand, and I enjoy very much coming back home and taking a hot shower and having a meal that is cooked on.
Like
I agree with that, but it's really somehow nice and very expanding to go through those experiences, and they just change your lens, and it's kind of something that you cannot unsee, or cannot unfeel, or cannot um, understand, I guess.
totally,
Yeah.
totally, and it's sorry to interrupt you, but I would like to add that to what you're saying that it informs that adventure informs the life, the rest of my life. It informs my life at the office. It informs my life with my family. It informs my life with my friends. Maybe it's just a hobby, but it's a hobby that is giving me practical philosophical learnings that I'm now sharing on Substack, and I was sharing before on LinkedIn, as you know. But at this point in my life, I feel that I want to focus more on that aspect of, how does adventure help us as humans to be more wise, let's say, and have a more fulfilling and meaningful and fun life in general, without needing to be a hardcore adventurer full time. Just a weekend adventure, let's say.
Also, something that you mentioned when you were sharing about how the stage is spending one day like that gives you a sense of autonomy and gives you a sense of fulfillment and purpose compared to, okay, I've lived my life now, and if I were like this, my life was to end at this point, then I wouldn't have regrets. I guess this is what you were saying, right?
Exactly.
This reminds me of a conversation and an exchange we once had on LinkedIn, and maybe you don't remember it, but it was actually about asking a strange question. So, like, how would you want to die? And I remember that what you said, well, I also agreed with you, is that rather, being this alive, being adventurous and being on the move, because exactly then at the end of it, okay, I did it and I enjoyed it and I felt human and connected in the process, something like.
Yes, yes, yes. Exactly. That's how it is. That's how I feel. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to regret living. Okay. I don't know. I don't want to live my life just trying to fit in, compromise, and, conform. No, this is not the life for me. Maybe it's for some people. I don't judge. Some people maybe are fine living their life like that. I don't judge. I'm not saying I have the magic pill or the solution, but I have the magic pill and solution for myself, And I'm sure since I am a human and everyone else is human, some of those humans might connect.
Hmm. Yeah. And also, one of the things that is now coming up for me is you described this. Sometimes, or actually a lot, especially we've been to LinkedIn and there's a lot of talk about self development, about purpose, and things like that. But it's sometimes these things are so big, like purpose, or so it's like trained, I guess. There's so much tension. Oh, you have to, and you connect it to some specific outcome. But what you are describing, it's you live a day like that, and
Yes.
this is it. I mean, this is not your whole life, obviously, but a
No,
day
but
like that makes it worthwhile, and there is purpose there. There is this connection to yourself, to the core, to nature, to the world. That is super beautiful.
yes, exactly. This is the key word, what you said. It is achievable by anyone who is willing to try, to be curious, to get a little bit out of their comfort zone. And, let's say this weekend, I'm going to go and try something different for 1 hour, just 1 hour. I'm going to try and go for a hike in the mountains. I'm going to try and go for mountain biking. I'm going to try and go for free diving. You know, just try. So many people are trapped into autopilot, all these obligations. The calendar is full, chasing status, chasing comfort, chasing, I don't know, artificial, and then many people we end up addicted to, things like social media or drugs or TV or porn or whatever. Or status or trying to achieve some artificial goal purpose. We need to have a vision. Everyone says we have to have a vision, we have to have a purpose, we have to have a mission and this and that. It's all sounds so scientific and difficult, and that and this pressure that we have to do this. We don't have to do anything, in my opinion. We just need to reconnect with ourselves, give a chance to connect again with ourselves and with nature, because we are nature, and understand that yes, we should have we must work in order to you know pay the bills and everything, but that does not have to constitute all our lives. Work, and work does not have to be this passion and everything. It can be just a means to an end. It can be just I'm working to get some money to feed my family and do my hobbies. That's it. There is also this option. Uh, so, yeah, all other things, have to be entrepreneur. Everybody has to be an entrepreneur. Everybody has to be a creative. Everybody has to be this or that. It's so much pressure, and we make things so much more difficult on us. I think when we can just live a more simple life. For me, simplicity is everything. If I have my job and health and I can do my hobbies and have my friends. That's all I want.
Okay, so well, we're getting to an end. I wanted to ask you this. So you mentioned that adventure for you is not necessarily only this kind of like physically and mentally intense activity like spearfishing, but um, biking, or let's say even the conversation that you mentioned. So what makes it an adventure? Because obviously we have conversations all the time. And let's say that we can go outside, for example, for a walk. I know with me that I can make a walk an adventure, but it wasn't always this way. And sometimes I stay here the whole walk. So what makes it an adventure, these activities?
Conversations, you mean?
Conversations or something that is not so extreme that in itself is
Ah,
out of the ordinary, but how do you make it stand out? How do you make it into an
right.
adventure?
Okay, so for example, most of the conversations I run into are very common. I mean, everybody's talking about their job, their family, sports, the politics, and everything. I try to get into the why of things. So whenever I'm in a conversations, I try to ask why and how. For example, I was discussing today with a couple of colleagues that I recently went on a road trip with my wife in Ireland. And I explained how nice it was there and everything. We did some hikes there and everything. And I told them that I felt that it was very hot in Ireland, even though it was only 25 degrees Celsius. And I said, if in Cyprus it was 25 degrees Celsius, it felt like normal day. So why was it like that there? And they said that because Ireland is north and north is more near the sun. And I didn't accept that answer. And I wanted to dig deeper. And then let's search this. And then how? How many meters is the sun closer from Ireland than in Cyprus? And I mean, you get the point. So after that, we researched that and we discussed it further. So we go deep. So this makes it an adventure. It's an exploration. It's fun. It's not just a normal, usual conversation like, well, okay, where you been yesterday? Where are you going tomorrow? What are you have to do? I mean, that's not interesting for me, and that's not an adventure. It's just I don't know. Sometimes you need to do those basic conversations, but at the same time, just with just one question, you can create a whole different conversation from the Monday to make it much more interesting and adventurous, and maybe create some inspiration and some thinking of the possibilities. I mean, make people think about possibilities and how things work and how the world work and what is possible for me and what is possible for you. So this is an adventure for me. Yeah, it feels like an adventure, and this is how I operate naturally in any kind of conversation. When we go cycling with my buddies in the mountains, and then we sit for coffee, and they start talking about something usual, I will ask a deep philosophical question, and then bam, the bomb is there. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I so agree. Exactly. In conversation, this is where it gets alive because
right.
I don't care about the routine because the routine is majority of life. And it's something also that we discussed, for example, at this weekend of wilderness training, how this, you turn it into adventure and extraordinary. You find just one track of an animal, just
Mm,
one. And then
yeah.
do so much around it. You do so much research around it. Well, first of all, you have to stare 10 minutes to start noticing some details. And then you stare the second
Mm,
time and notice more details. Then you measure, then you say, okay, what kind of an animal is it? And then you say, okay, so what is the surrounding and what are the habits of this animal and how the surroundings pass with it? And so basically all you had was the one track, and now all of a sudden you've gone on a trip, on an adventure with that. Yeah.
suddenly you hear a sound and you look back and see a bear. See, it's a bear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You share a little bit what you're up to and how people can connect with you. And in the show notes to the podcast episodes, I will add those links.
I am on Substack. I write this newsletter called freshness of the real. So please download the Substack application and subscribe. It's free. I share my adventures, my mountain biking adventures, my road cycling, my spearfishing adventures, and also some practical philosophical learnings that some insights that I received through those adventures, and also my conversations with different people I meet. And I would love to, uh, you know, uh, connect with everyone who aligns with this and feels like it's something they're interested in, conversations, and enjoy, the different opinions and uh, expanding and exploring more using our curiosities. Yeah, so you can find me on Substack. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me under my name, Nikos Nikolaou.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can definitely reach out, and even I will try to be as helpful as I can to introduce you to the sport and the equipment and everything. And of course, if you come to Cyprus, we can arrange a spearfishing adventure together. That would be fun.
Okay, well, thank you. That was a tricky question. Maybe I will take advantage of this opportunity one day.
You do that. You do that, Yulia. I'll be delighted. And then I will come to Berlin and go to look for those bear marks.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm there. Not sure, but we can pick something. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, Nikos, thanks a lot again. And
Thank you.
everyone, adventures and also everyday adventures like live conversations, right? And yeah, thank you. And we'll see you around, I'm sure.
Definitely. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Breath of Life. It means a lot to me. If something in this conversation touched you, consider sharing it with someone and connecting in the process. Follow The Breath of Life for new episodes and join me on Substack, where I publish my weekly writings. The link is in the show notes. Till next time.